Welcome, welcome, welcome to the college funding webinar hosted by Beyond Academy, the secrets of a college financial aid expert. We are ready to get started. Just one last reminder as we start the introduction to please download the documents that you see in the chat box. This has very important information that you'll need throughout the webinar. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Rosalie Juma. I am the communication specialist for Beyond Academy. Today's webinar lasts about an hour and a half. We will have a Q&A at the end of the session, but by all means, during the course of the webinar, if you have a question, please click on the button and send us your question. We will be answering some of them throughout the event. However, some of the most popular ones we will do at the end of the event. At the conclusion of the event, we will be offering a free consultation appointment to discuss your specific situation. We know that you have some specific questions that maybe you don't feel comfortable asking, or you want to learn more about the program. We will set up the one-on-one consultations with Sherry after the event. While you're all sitting there and we're getting started, please take out your phones and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We also have a really great YouTube channel that has lots of valuable insight and videos on helping you plan through your college process and even some funding tips. We will be giving a special gift for all of those who follow us throughout the event. So take out your phones, it's at Beyond Academy. But enough about social media. Let's get into why you're really here. You want to help your student get into their dream college and also, find a career that they love. So what Beyond Academy does is we help work on strategies through several different ways to help you figure out the college funding process. We also work with you and your child on the college admissions process. And also, we work with career development. Your child has been dreaming of having a certain career ever since they were little. What is the best major for them to actually have that career? And what college is best for that? We help with all three of those components. So Beyond Academy is not a one-stop shop. We will take you through the whole process from getting into college, finding a major, and paying for it. We have an expert team of experienced college advisors who will work with you one-on-one throughout the process. They are strategically located throughout the United States, so it doesn't matter on what geographic location that you're in. We have a specialist in your area. However, right now we're doing a lot of our appointments virtually because of the environment that we're in. And Dr. Sherry does a great job of really finding the best advisor to work with you and your family. So today's host, I'm very excited to announce, is Dr. Sherry Hugh. She is the co-founder and director of Beyond Academy. She's also a certified college funding advisor, which means she has gone through special training and education to become certified specifically for college funding. She and her team have helped over 3,000 families get into the college of their dream. And these are top-notch colleges such as Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Wharton, Berkeley, USC, Brown, Cornell, Johns Hopkins, and that's just to name a few. But equally as important, she has helped families save over $83,000 in college costs. Her work does not stop there. She is a very active member of the community. She currently sits as the City Council member of the City of Dublin, California. She's a Rotary Club member. She's the director of the board for nonprofit organizations for student leadership and development. Dr. Sherry really cares. She's out in the community working. She's getting the education that she needs to give the best advice and really help your student become prominent leaders. Her previous experience is she was a professor. She held a senior management position of a Fortune 200 company, and she has been the director of international nonprofit organizations. So I'd like to take this moment and introduce Dr. Sherry, who will be hosting this event for you today. Dr. Sherry.
Thank you so much, Rosalie. So nice of you for your kind introduction. So hello, everyone. Happy Saturday for you. And as Rosalie just introduced, today we are going to talk about college planning, and our primary focus will be in college funding. And we have 100 of audience today. So before we start, let us have a quick survey question so we can understand your needs and who you are. So on your screen, you should be able to see this survey question. When do you think is the best time to start the college planning? So you can just make your choices on the screen. And in a little bit, I'll share the result. So we have like 60, 70 people already voted. We'll keep doing for a few more seconds. All right, 5 more seconds. We got about almost like 90 people already voted. Okay, I'll stop here and the polling, and then I'll share my results with you. As you can see, most people think we should start at the middle school years or earlier. And a lot of people still think it's better to start early, as you can tell. All right, so this is awesome. I'll stop the sharing here, and I'll just go ahead to start our topic today. So we have been doing this webinar and doing this college planning services for many years. And our research has told us why everyone today responded to our invitation or responded to the referral from your friends and the families, why you are here today. And maybe why you take advantage of the free consultation we are going to offer to you at the end of the webinar, and why you decided to potentially engage our services. Here's some top concerns you have. So probably not everyone has enough time to stay on top of everything. Is that right? So who does college planning as a full-time job? Probably only our team here today is the ones who do the full-time job here, and everybody else has something else to do from 9 to 5. And the last thing you want to do is at 10 o'clock at night, you put on your college admission cap and do hours of research, and to research on how to choose the right major, how to find the right school, how to get the right GPA, ACT, SAT scores, what's good for your daughter, for your kids, right? So who's excited about this? And that's just a college admission side. What about the financial aid side? Does this school give money? Does that school give financial aid? How much of that is free? How much that is in the form of loans? So those kind of stuff can take hours of hours in order to be proper. So who has filled out a FAFSA form before? You heard of FAFSA, right? Right. It's not overly difficult, is that right? But literally there's over 100 questions you have to answer. And that's just about FAFSA. And there's a CSS profile form. there's institutional forms, right? There's so many different forms just for the financial applications alone. And there's scholarships. There's so many types of things. And what about guidelines? For the families who have been through this process a couple of times, and then they probably know each school can have 5, 6 different guidelines. There are early decisions, early admissions, regular application guidelines, financial aid guidelines. How many schools your child is applying for, right? Like 10, 15 schools. I know some kids even apply for like 25 schools. So the average student has over 40 guidelines during the college application process. So by the way, do you even know which school your child is applying for? Just a few days ago, a mother of a student came to me, and the child actually got admitted to a very top-notch school, Boston University, right? And it's a lot of money. It's like $78,000 per year. It's kind of like a bittersweet moment for the parents. Mom is so happy, so proud for their child, but she really doesn't have idea where to get the money to pay for that. So this leads me to another potential question. Many students filled out the financial forms by themselves. So does a student should be the one to fill out the financial forms? Really? Do they know how much money you make, how much money you save, how much you have in your investment accounts, and how much taxes you pay? Do they know that information? How you can make sure they get everything right there? And that's so important. Okay, so what makes the parents really concerned is they might really do something wrong, and that cost their children a future to their dream schools, right? And also they may make some wrong to cause their financial burden as well. And one more question for you: who here feels like they already have a solid plan for their college admissions, and also year 2-year cash flow plan to pay for their college? I suspect that's why you came here today, because we don't have a solid plan yet, right? So just like when our children were born, we didn't really know how to do it, right? We didn't have an instructional handbook, and we thought we could figure out along the way. So typically, our oldest child is our guinea pig, and we make all the mistakes with our older children, and we get better and better with our younger ones. And this kind of the process we always go through. However, think about it. College is too important and too expensive to make such a trial and error process. So we need to make sure we do it right the first time and always. Okay, so we'll talk about a couple of topics today. We'll talk about how to choose a major, how to choose a college list, and then a couple of things about SAT, ACT, college visits, and then we'll go ahead to focus on the college funding. All right, so here you can probably see this photo probably happening in your house, right? And parents are asking their children, right, what major do you want to choose for college? The child has no idea about it. Sometimes the child has some idea, but you're not sure that's the right idea, right? My child wants to be a nurse, but how do you know he will be good at doing this, right? And how do you know maybe he can be a doctor, not just a nurse? And my child likes to play video games. Maybe he can do a computer science, is that right? And my child likes art, likes music, but that major may not make a good money. So there's a lot of questions parents have and children have. So totally, there are 8 categories and over 1,800 majors. And many of us just heard only some of them. And no wonder our children, without much life experience, they do not know what to do, right? Okay, so I have a few graphs here just to quickly give you some ideas. So many people choose their major based on the career-related factors, the job availabilities, employment, salaries, and some majors are more popular, such as business, engineering, computer science. and some are not that popular, such as agriculture. Okay, and many of them actually some majors have a higher unemployment rate, and some are actually have a better job opportunities, right? So the graph here showing you those kind of things. As you can see, I'll get my pointer here. Like architecture here actually may have a higher unemployment rate during the economic downturn, right? And arts as well. And different colors are just different degrees. The blue is a bachelor degree, the red is for the master degrees. And here's the same thing. Just ignore the colors, look at the trends, and you can say some majors are recommended by their alumni, which means, they have done it, they understand it. So they recommend to their families and friends, like a business, like a art, like a accounting and finance. And then some majors down here, like a philosophy, art, maybe, some people have done it and they enjoy that, but later on they found there's not that great job opportunities, not that great pay. So they said, okay, I've done this. I know how this is like. I don't recommend to my family and friends. And this is another interesting chart. So if you look at here, what majors actually have a better chance to get a higher income, right? So here's for the graduate have a more than $75,000 of average income. So if you can see the green part here is for the nursing and healthcare professionals. And some of them are engineers, computer science here. But if you look at the lower income categories, there's a lot of things here in purple is the visual and the performing arts. And also there's some blue things here is the physical science and is that right? It's psychology, right? So it's a psychology. As we can know, some majors do have a better job opportunities, right? Okay, this is another interesting thing to look at is you look at the unemployment rate and the earnings by the degrees. As you can see, the doctorate degree has the lowest unemployment rate and also highest weekly earnings. So by the way, I'm Dr. Sherry Hu, so I am not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor. I have a doctorate degree in engineering and also have a business finance degree. So this is why we say Dr. Sherry Hu, not medical, right? So this is one chart actually I really enjoy because when I were younger, and a lot of people ask me why you want to go for a PhD degree. It's just me. I like to study, right? But later on I can tell people because of good reasons. Okay, here's some good reasons and bad reasons to choose a major. So there's a wrong reasons, including my parents want me to do this, and my friends are in this major, and it looks so cool on TV, right? And frankly, I'm too lazy to do the exploration. I'll just choose something, something easy. There's a very good reasons to choose a major. It's like, I really love what I'm doing. I know this is right for me. And I've done a lot of research. And I think that's best fit my interests. So those are good reasons. And also, before you really choose your major, students choose their majors, they need to understand themselves. They need to know their interests. What do they like, right? They also need to understand their personalities. Do they have a personalities that support their career choices, right? Are they introvert or extrovert? Are they realistic or idealistic? Are they logical or they are filler? Do they like to do the plans or they are very flexible? So those are all has a say in the majors they want to choose for. And what kind of skills the student has, right? Do they have a people skills or do they do the data very well and they make things very well? And what kind of values the student or the family has? And are there some cultural difference and economic returns in that job? So those are the things to consider. So basically, I actually put this graph together. That's the areas you are looking for, something the student really good at, they have the skills and the personalities to support this, and something he's really passionate about, and something actually can bring the returns, have the either income or social values. So for the areas that labs, it's their major. So sounds like a little bit complicated, is that right? But we do have the tools and the resources and the guidance to make that happen to your children. So here's a little bit example for you. So we have this social science tools. We call it the Myers-Briggs survey questions. So there's over 100 questions student will go through, and at the end of this, it will match the student like 20 different majors or 30 majors. Those are just the starting of the process to make the student to start think about to explore different career options. I put something here. Actually, this is for my daughter. That's her result. So she's very good at math. So some of the match you can say is like actuary. What's actuary, right? That's the first question my daughter will ask. Other people, they actually don't know what that is. And then in this resource tool, actually there's a very nice description about what kind of jobs this is, what kind of tasks people are doing, and what's the attributes and abilities that enable the student to do the job, and what kind of work experience, work environment. And also very important, what's the pay, right? What's the income? And what kind of education is required? And there's a people also talk about, like people really doing this job they will really speak if I click on the website, and they will talk to students how they like their job, why they chose the job they're doing, what's the career path, to really make people to think about this job. So we have hundreds of jobs in this database. It's very convenient for students to know about different jobs. Okay, okay, I just want to move ahead. Something happened to my pointer. Okay, just close my point. All right. So here we talk about different colleges now, right? We change a little bit about colleges. So we talk about there's so many colleges in the United States, over 5,000, and among them, over 2,000 are accredited. As you can see in the map, just to focus on the color, when you have a darker red color, darker color means there's more colleges in that state. So as you can see, like California, Texas, and the East Coast has a lot of great schools, a lot of numbers of schools there. So I just go ahead to go over those things. So what are the factors to consider when you choose a college, right? You need to also know what's the educational goals. Are you going there for a career, or you are going there for some new experience, or you're just trying to go to a prestigious schools, right? You can change to choose your career later on. So there's different purposes, and there's things to consider. And also you need to also understand the academic abilities of the college, and what's the skills and the time management required for that school. And does the student have a motivation? How they make the decision? Can they gather the information very well? Do they adapt to the new environment? Do they make friends easily? So those are all the things the student need to consider when they apply for a college. And also there's a lot of things we already know, like you need to consider the location, the size, and how difficult to get admitted, right? And what has the academics offering there, and what majors there, right? And what's the cost? That's important reasons. There's some schools that are very expensive. Like I just give you a few, like Stanford, it's $80,000 per year, right? Including the room and board and the tuition, everything together. It's so expensive. And some state schools are much more affordable. So you need to consider those things. And what's religions there, and what kind of student life activities, and what kind of sports team there, what kind of experience, it's a suburb or it's a cities. All those things need to be considered. And when the student visit a school, not just a walk by, take a tour, look at buildings, there's a more deep dive into those kind of experience, right? talk to the students, talk to the teachers, enjoy the library, go to the different places, and take notes. That's important things. So you can remember after you have searched or you have looked at like 5 or 10 different schools. Okay, so there's another question parents always ask me, especially like students in 10th grader or juniors. They ask, do my student need to take SAT or ACT tests? Some schools require that. Some schools are like optional. Some schools just totally banned on SAT, ACTs. So my answer to you is it depends. We just have to know more about your student, know more about the school requirement before we can go ahead to recommend to you. And that's a very important resource I want to bring to the parents is the college tour is so important. And especially before your kids to decide which school to apply for, and also after your kids got admitted and they want to decide which one to go. And there's a website, of course, and also there's a lot of very good resource. Like there's 2 websites I recommend here. One is collegetours.com and uvisit.com. These 2 websites actually, they provide awesome the virtual tours. They literally spend millions of dollars into the website just to create that real kind of like a real experience for the parents, especially during the COVID right now. A lot of parents still don't feel comfortable to drive to the schools or to fly to the schools. This is an awesome place they can get some feelings about the school. Okay, so now we are going to focus on the money part, right? So as we just talk about the cost is pretty high, and it's somewhere about 100K to 300K per child per college, right? So what's included in this cost? So we talk about attendance, cost of attendance, COA. So cost of attendance, including tuition, fees, books, room and board, lab expenses. Basically, it's everything except the pizza money and the drinking money. Okay, so this is a number we will always use, cost of attendance. So cost of attendance varies. And by the way, the cost is not ever slowing down. It's increasing at about 6 to 7% per year. So why is that? It's just the economics, the simple law of supply and demand. Most job positions nowadays require a college degrees. So that's pretty much the reason, basically all the kids nowadays, they need to go to the college in order to get a decent job in the future. And another thing I want to ask you, do you know how long it takes for an average student to get a bachelor degree? 4 years, right? Most parents will say 4 years. Okay, 4 years, right? So on average, it's a 5.8 years. That's a national average to a student get a bachelor degree. So why takes longer than 4 years? So one of the reasons is, you probably already know, is the student do not know what major to go at the beginning. So in the middle, they want to change it. So that's some of the reason we talk about career choices. It's important. So for a state university, for example, University of California, right? So that costs about $37,000 per year. So the total might be around $200,000 if a student takes, 5.8 years on average. And it's not just about University of California, it's other state schools as well. It's like University of Michigan, UT Austin, University of Florida. They're all about like 25, 30,000-ish. So that's the total for 5 years, 4 years of a bachelor degree, 200K or 150K. And multiply that by how many children you have. I know most of us have more than one, right? We have 2 or 3, even more. Can you see this becomes a bigger problem? This could be a bigger number than your mortgage. And you have a significantly less time to pay for this. Is that right? And probably after you put through your child through the college, your retirement is around the corner. So this also becomes a retirement issue. Is this resonating with anybody watching today? That will be the topic we will focus on from now on. If that's not what you want to hear today, so you can leave now, because we'll talk about this, dive into this problem from now on. So I have asked my team of experts. There's one advisor who has specially prepared some very good information for me. Okay, and so from now, I will just play that information to you, and I'm sure you'll learn a lot of things about it. And after that, I'll come back to discuss with you.
So let's get into some myth versus reality. I make too much money. I'm not going to qualify for financial aid. Myth or reality? To me, that's a myth, guys. But if you go to the soccer game, talk to the other parents, or go to the coffee pot at work, talk to one of your coworkers who did this a couple years ago, be careful. If you talk to your brother or your sister, you don't really know how smart their child is or how well they did or their financial picture. Be careful what other people say. Oh, they're not going to get this, or you're not going to get that. It's all dependent, but a generalized statement, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You can make $10 or $10 million. You still can get financial aid. And again, don't forget, not all financial aid is grants. Some financial aid are low cost, very low interest rate loans that I was talking about, could come from the federal government or even state government. There's different ways to do this. Another one's, my child's not a great student, so we're not getting any financial aid. Is that a myth or reality? Again, a myth. Yeah, so you know what the bigger issue is? Can your child get accepted to the colleges they're applying to? So this is not just a financial aid or how to pay for it conversation. This is actually really admissions, a student services conversation. Are they taking their ACT or SAT seriously enough? Because those tests can be worth thousands of dollars of financial aid, but there can also be a difference between getting accepted at a particular university or not getting accepted. Are they doing a good job on their essays? Do they have a resume? Do they have any community service that they've done that's actually not court ordered? All right, I'll be the only one to laugh at my own joke. I just want to make sure everyone's still with me, okay? What about this? I own a home, so I'm not going to get any financial aid. Is that a myth or reality? That's actually could be true. So you've heard the golden rule. Well, there's the one golden rule, but the other definition is the one who has the gold makes the rules. Private schools are not subject to these rules and regulations of the Department of Ed. They're private. They've got the gold, so they get to make their own rules. And this CSS profile, and one of the ones I've already filled out the profile before, but on the profile form, they're like, what's the fair market value of your house? What's the outstanding loan balance of your house? What are they trying to calculate? Home equity, right? And if you have too much home equity, they're going to withhold some financial aid to your child, causing you to find more money from other locations, or really causing you to dip into your home equity to pay for school. I know it's not necessarily fair, but don't shoot the messenger. But don't you want to know these things and what number is before you fill out the application and send those financial aid forms? I sure would. For those of you who have done this before, raise your virtual hand. FAFSA. Who's done the FAFSA before? All right. Easy as a four-letter word, EASY. Is that the four-letter word you were used to describe this process? I can see your head shaking through the computer. No, it's not. It's not necessarily quick and simple. Colleges and their financial aid officers may offer help. Is that a myth or reality? I'm going to go with myth here, and here's why. Because a college admissions officer is different than a college financial aid officer, all right? Let's talk about the chair you're currently sitting in. How much does that chair cost at Ohio State University? I told you earlier, you're probably in like $100 chair you're sitting in watching this webinar. That chair would cost $30,000 at Ohio State University because it's not representative of what it costs. It's representative of the intrinsic value of what it's going to give. Now, that chair at your local community college may only be $5,000. The chair at Duke or Princeton or Yale or Harvard or MIT, it could be a $75,000 chair you're sitting in, and everywhere in between. You submit an application for admissions. Guess what? They will do everything in their power to get your child to go to the school, assuming they have the grades, the resume, and everything else is in line. But once your child gets accepted, you get handed off to a college financial aid officer, right? If you've been through this before, exactly what I'm saying. So you get a college financial aid officer. Guess what their job is? First of all, they have a boss, and then they have a boss. It's the chancellor of the university. What does the chancellor of the university ultimately want to see? How big that endowment fund is getting for the university, right? So for the college financial aid officer, this is a unit of revenue. This chair that you're sitting in is a unit of revenue. At the Ivy Leagues, it's $75,000. At state schools, it's around $30,000. At mid-level private colleges, that's $50,000 or $60,000. But don't forget, it's a unit of revenue. So, has this been so helpful so far? Hopefully. Take a look at this. This represents $246 billion. The pie chart represents the $246 billion. The blue is what families on average pay out of pocket every year. Okay, so what is that, about 20, 25%? The red is scholarships. The green is all OPM. Y'all know what I'm talking about with OPM stands for? Other people's money. That's what we need to figure out. How do we get access to OPM? Other people's money. So we talked about the golden question, cost of attendance. Write this down because there's a test later. Just kidding. If you fail, you're going to pay too much and send your kid to college. So cost of attendance, which is COA, minus EFC, which is expected family contribution, equals family need. Cost of attendance minus EFC equals family need. Now, I've already talked to you about the different costs of attendances, the different things colleges, tuition, books, room and board. Now, what is an EFC? It could be, it's different for every family, I would say. But in the age of the parent, it takes into account the age of the parents, household income of the parents, assets of the parents, the students' ages, how many students are in college, student assets, students' income, what's in their names, everything, right? So the entire formula, and that's really 3 categories of families that we work with. So let's kind of go into category 1. The first category of families, just really there's more month than money sometimes. It's really a struggle. Income's not always where it needs to be. Savings are nowhere close to where they want them to be. Maybe even non-existent. Maybe there's some net that we have to take care of. This type of family with a student that has the ability to get accepted to the universities that are applying to, this type of family will qualify for maximum, and I repeat, maximum financial aid need-based dollars. But they still have to submit all the forms 100% accurately and on time. If you don't submit them 100% accurately on time, there could be issues. So if I'm an admissions officer, a financial aid officer, and I'm receiving financial aid forms, and as they come in, there's a stack over here that are done properly. And then there's a stack that to the right that might be missing one item. They're going to put that, stack on, and state on the right form and miss the household income, or maybe you just missed something, misspelled something triggered them to say this is wrong. Which ones do I get them all in? I'm going to process first if I'm the admissions counselors. Obviously, the ones that are done correctly. So I'm going to go back to the family here and say, hey, please correct this form and fill it out. But by the time it may be 6 or 8 weeks later and the majority of the money has already been spoken for, I cannot understate how important it is to get the forms in accurately and on time. Okay, does this make sense? The second category of families that work with, depending on the school, is looking at our state schools, private schools, Ivy League schools. Depending on the schools and depending how mom and dad have positioned their income, their assets, could be the difference between getting the maximum financial aid dollars and zero financial aid dollars. And it's probably the majority of the people watching this webinar today, because the majority of the people we work with. Don't you want to know what it looks like before sending out applications, before we do financial aid forms, before we get the hopes and dreams up of our children, and before we stress out at night wondering, oh my God, what if my child actually gets accepted? How are we going to pay for it? Does anyone else feel that way? Sure, honey, you can apply. Again, you want to know before going into it. And then we've kind of got the category 3 families. Category 3 families blessed with great income, blessed with great assets. Money's not, for this type of family, is really a problem. So they're probably not going to qualify for what we call need-based financial aid. But they still have to submit all the forms accurately on time, because they too want as much merit-based money as possible. They too want to figure out how to lessen their burden. They might have the ability to pay cash. They might just not want necessarily to have to pay cash if there's anything legally and ethically able to be done for them, right? So in these types of families, we definitely look at CPAs and accountants, because there might be some income tax savings we can take advantage of. If we can save, say, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 a year of income taxes for this type of family, and it was legal and ethical, and CPAs have signed off on it, isn't that like getting a scholarship? You know what? As long as you don't have to pay it back, that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish. All right. Now, if you could, in theory, get a free ride, and free rides are really hard to come by. If you could, in theory, get a free ride and you don't have to pay for college, instead, you take that money you've paid for college and put away in some account, let's just say 6% for 15 years, it would turn into a little over $190,000 available for retirement. Pay the house off, something for you to use that you can actually do something with, as opposed to going to those rich college and universities. Maybe this is not to the extreme, but any amount of money that you don't have to send to the college and in the schools, you're able to use for your next child, maybe pay off debt, pay off the house sooner, anything, use that money for retirement. Can you guys all see how this is a huge issue, a massively huge issue? All right, so we've talked about the FAFSA, and you've already talked about the importance of submitting it accurate and on time. So I've already started to get into this, but the money for colleges can come from about 4 places: the federal government, the state government, the colleges, the universities themselves, or private scholarships. The federal government has already talked about this, and I've talked about this a little bit. There's just not enough money to go around. More than ever in history, there's less aid from the federal government per student enrolled in college in undergraduate admissions. State governments, I should say, are claiming they're going broke anyway, right? Especially in this crisis, they're all asking for money. So they're more and more saying there's less and less money. We used to have some really cool accessible money from our state government, and that's going away, and it's getting uglier and uglier every year and even every day with this virus. Now with the COVID-19 strain on state and federal resources, this situation is only getting worse. We've already talked about the private scholarships. Let me ask you a question. Has everyone watching here today been out to at least one college campus, driven by a college campus? Obviously, they're ugly. I mean, the ugliest things you've ever seen before. Just kidding. They're beautiful, aren't they? Not even the so-called cool schools are really just beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're well kept. They have money. They don't just want to spend their money. You get it, guys? It's a business. They're in the business of education, but make no mistake about this. They're in the business of getting you to pay as much money out of pocket as possible. But up until now, no one was giving you the insider rules, and we're here to give them to you. So don't forget, beyond the FAFSA, there's the CSS profile. I mentioned it before. Many private schools want you to submit not only the FAFSA form, but the CSS profile form. I like to call it, we called around the office the CSS profile as the FAFSA on steroids. This form drills even deeper into your financial situation, the value of your business, equity in your home, everything, etc. More importantly, for divorced families, listen closely. These forms are where you may or may not have to disclose the income and assets of a non-custodial parent. It really depends on the school. This is why literally every single family decides to take advantage to meet with us one-on-one to get these exact questions answered. Now remember, before I explain the cost of attendance minus EFC equals family need, and wouldn't it be great if every school is going to meet whatever that family need portion is? Well, unfortunately, not every school meets 100% of family need. Every school will meet a different percentage of family need. If a college doesn't meet 100% of the family need, guess who is stuck paying the tab? You're exactly right, the family. In addition, not all family need met is equal. Understanding what percentage of family need is met is free money like grants or self-help like loans or work study. Let me give you a kind of quick example with the Smith family. Everyone's heard of Vanderbilt, correct? It's in Nashville, Tennessee, beautiful place. The cost of attendance today, and these are kind of new numbers, I think about $73,000 a year to go to Vanderbilt. Awesome school. This family, let's just say, had an expected family contribution when they did all the forms of a little over $9,000. So this formula, when they filled out all the government forms, the government said that they'd be able to pay about $9,000 before financial aid. It's always more than you want it to be. But if I subtract the $9,050 from the about $37,000, it leaves about $64,000 of need left over. That's need they qualify for financial, is family need. Have you ever told your child, we can't look at the school because it costs too much? Have you ever thought it in your head at least? You may change that story after seeing this. Vanderbilt has a history of meeting 100% of need. And that's all free money. It's a grant. None of it's a loan. None of it's a work study program. It's all free money. That's what we're shooting for. So this family's out-of-pocket cost was a little over $9,000 to go to a $73,000 school. Crazy, right? Now let's look at, I live in Ohio. Let's look at Ohio State University. That's why I keep bringing it up. I know it's got the best football team, the best damn band in the country, in the land, but okay, please don't hang up. The cost of attendance at OSU is right about $28,000 a year. I mentioned this before. Using the same math, $9,000 from $28,000, it's about $19,000 of financial need, right? But the problem with a state school, and I'm not just picking on OSU, both my parents, my sisters went there. I actually went to Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, much better school. Just kidding. But they meet only 74% of that need met, which that leaves about $5,000 short of that number. Who's picking up that shortfall? Mom and dad are, and the child is sometimes. The shortfall gets added back into the expected family contribution. So it costs about $14,000 to go to OSU versus $9,000 to go to Vanderbilt. Now, I'm not saying one school is better than the other, but our goal is to give our family options. And guess what? In this example, it would actually cost less to go to much more, 2 to 3 times more expensive school than it would be to a cheap state school. The key here is to not get scared off by the price tag. Don't you want to know how this works out before you go through the process? The good news is we've created a proprietary software I'll talk about in a few minutes that can project your child's personalized financial aid award offer at any school of their choice. Another main reason why we offer that 1-hour free consultation I was talking about in the beginning of the webinar. So also, this is something that's really interesting. Did you know you can negotiate your child's financial aid award offer from each school? Do you know how it's not uncommon for colleges to misaward financial aid packages? I don't want to say it's really intentional, but your family's financials can usually change every year, and they usually do. And don't forget, colleges are using your prior year's tax returns. By the way, kind of already talked about this. This is a business decision for these schools. So they're going to give you a lowball financial aid offer when you finally get your financial aid offer back. Did you know you can appeal that? Obviously, there's a proven method of doing this. And wink, wink, we are experts at this. Most families I speak with, we don't know, we didn't know that. We were going to get the financial aid offer and say, okay, it's not as much as money as we were hoping for, but always remember you can actually appeal and negotiate for a larger offer. I'm not saying it always happens, but you always have the opportunity. Let's also talk about financial aid leveraging. I don't know how many people know about this. According to an old Money Magazine article, 65% of private schools and 27% of public schools engage in financial aid leveraging. This process is used by universities to determine how little, and I'll repeat that, how little aid needs to be awarded to a particular student just to get their student to enroll in the process and to enroll at that school. Again, how little aid, it's the opposite of what most families think. So it is perfectly legal and ethical to make use of the rules and allow you to get more money. Just like we did with standard deductions, itemized deductions, exemptions, the allowances in our tax code, why would you not apply the same rules and thought process to college funding? Don't forget, this is a business transaction. All right, I want you to look at the University of Chicago PDF. Okay, look at the original award offer dated back December 18th, 2017. The total award for the student was about $36,000 per year. Don't get me wrong, most families would be doing cartwheels to get $36,000 of financial aid a year, but don't forget, the University of Chicago costs roughly about $78,000 all in cost of tuition. I know, unreal. Now to the good stuff. After working with our team and allowing us to do our magic, i.e. appeals and negotiations, University of Chicago increased their financial aid award package to over $73,000 per year. Yes, you heard me correctly, per year. That's an increase of over $36,000 of additional award money per year. Without taking the time to watch the financial aid webinar, deciding to take advantage of our free 1-hour consultation, and ultimately engaging our services, this family would have been overcharged by almost $147,000 for college. I made a bad joke to the family that the school would not even name a library after them. They didn't laugh too hard. So if they had done the process on their own, had they taken the initial award offer as gospel, how much money would they have left on the table for 4 years? A tremendous amount of money. Don't forget, you need to know the rules of the game before you play the game. All right, so let's transition and talk a little bit about 529 plans. That's a big question I get from a lot of people. What about 529 plans? Are they cracked up? Are they all they're cracked up to be? What are so-called benefits? How do they affect financial aid? These are all the questions we get all the time. There are many benefits to the 529 plan, but as most people have seen during this COVID-19 crisis, even the most conservative 529 plans are at risk to the market volatility. In addition, every school treats the value of the distribution of these plans differently in regards to financial aid qualification. The FAFSA traditionally treats it as a parent asset, but colleges that use the CSS profile can treat it any way they see fit. Think about it from their point of view. Let's say you have 2 students looking for financial aid, and one student has $75,000 in a 529, and one student has 0. Which student do you think they're going to be giving a larger financial aid package to? I know it's not a fair process, but don't forget, this is a business. I'm not telling you to go home and blow up your 529 plans and put in a tin can in the backyard. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is make sure you have someone competent in understanding the rules and regulations of 529 plan distributions, because they're not all they're cracked up to be. Again, we know families who use them quite a bit. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. It's just a case-by-case situation. So let's go a little bit more into tax laws. I'm sure everyone on the webinar is completely up to speed on every single tax law that exists in our code. But you have to understand how these complicated tax laws and regulations impact financial aid, right? It's crucial. Tax law is different than financial aid forms and financial aid process. So it can be a crazy confusion. Add confusion and complication to the entire process. But we want to make sure, for example, what are your restrictions on using IRAs, for an example, for college expenses? Do we all know that? I'm sure we all know that, right? Should you refinance your home to pay a college loan off? Does that make sense? Do you make too much money to qualify for that lifetime learning tax credit? Did you even know what that even was? All of these things are important when it comes to your individual situation based on the schools your child is looking at. So what can you do? How not to become a casualty? Well, number one, when should you have started doing this? In my opinion, 17 years ago. Yes, exactly right. The day your kids were born. There's a proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was many years ago, but the second best time is now. The only time it's too late for college funding services and college planning is senior year of your student's college career. Senior year of college. We may be too late to get every semester at a low cost, but if we can get other semesters at a low cost, you're still saving money, right? We should have started doing this a long time ago. Having a freshman in high school is probably what I would say the right time to leisurely pace through, and not everything has to get crammed in. But that being said, we can still do a lot of good for rising seniors in high school. It's not too late. Believe me when I tell you, most of our clients will bring on this year are rising sophomores, juniors, and rising seniors in high school. Current juniors, sophomores, and freshmen are ideal. Now is the best time. I don't know a better way of putting this. There's a baseline. This starts the process. So where's your kid at? What kind of school should they be looking at? Is it now time to build up their resume, their extracurricular activities, their volunteer work? You know, all those things that become important in a college financial aid admissions process. So let's put it this way. If you're going to have someone help you out with these things, you must ask them these questions. Can you show me how to lower my expected family contribution and maximize my opportunity for aid? Can you help me pick the right schools and give me the lowest out-of-pocket cost for me and my family? Can they help you fill out all the financial aid forms, or even in better, actually do the financial aid forms for you, outsource it to them with no mistakes? And not, is that something you can negotiate for on your own, or are they going to be able to help you with that? I guess the way I look at it is, can they negotiate when you get that award offer in your hands? Are they able to do that for you? But when you get a low initial financial aid offer, and then you will, what and who will you turn to? Can they be that help? Don't worry. If you make too much money, or you think you make too much money, please don't make the mistake of leaving other people's money on the table. Even if it's federal government money, don't leave it on the table. There's other things we can do. We can do merit-based services for your child. We can try to do cash flow strategies. There's no such thing as making too much money. I keep saying that. So what are your options? You can do it on your own, and the colleges and universities will love you for doing it on your own, just like every other family in history has done. You could let your accountant do it for you, but most accountants and CPAs will tell you they don't want to be in that business. It's a completely different mindset, train of thought, skill set, etc. But if you own a business, we need you to bring your CPA in the conversation, try to maximize deductions and things like that. It's extremely important to have everyone on your team to be on the same page. Don't forget, you need a team. You're about to pay $100,000 to $300,000 per student. How can you not put together a team to help you for this?
Okay, so I will take over from here. So we have already talked about a lot of good information there, and then we want to tell you. So what will a college funding expert to do for you? Do they offer guarantees? those are the things you need to consider when you decided to get somebody to help you. Where should you get planning? Where should you start? And what's your next step? And keep all those questions in your mind. The college funding, pick the best schools, fill out the forms for you, and then negotiate with your schools. And we understand it's important to eliminate all the administrative nightmare because this can bring numerous chances for errors, and it will also impact the overall process. So just like to know, as an organization, we actually have an integrated process. We make sure our families will have a sound financial strategies and also integrated with the college admissions and the financial aid process. And we will also implement the strategies for you, which we do not just plan for you, we also make sure that's going to happen. So I know all the families, they all enjoy our services. They love us. We got so many thank you letters. And by the way, if families don't get satisfied or thrilled with our services, for any reason, we can refund them the fees pro rata. So just a list of the things we normally do for our families. So we will create a personalized plan, and every family is unique. So we will make sure we get your unique situations considered. We will negotiate on your behalf, and with a lot of years of experience, and we know the process, we know the vocabulary, we know how to do the best for you. And we will interview your student. We'll make sure we are going after the right schools, the right degrees, and for the right personalities of your child. And not because just your child friends is going to somewhere, so they want to go as well. So we have a team of experts. We will complete all the financial aid forms line by line for your family. So we will now let you do it, so there's a chance for mistake. So we will also help you to look at your income and asset to help you make a best funding plan that can reduce your EFC as much as possible. And most importantly, that's one thing we do. Our program is also called Peace of Mind program, POM program. A lot of people ask me what's a POM, POM means peace of mind. That's a key value we have. We want to provide peace of mind for your families because college years are, stressful. So a lot of people ask me why I do what I do, because I have children myself. I have helped my sisters, brothers put through a few children through the college process. And I know how stressful family is. And also I know how important it is. So when every year, especially this time of the year, my students, my families, they got admitted by so many great schools. They came back to me. They told me, thank you, Dr. Sherry. Thanks for your help. That's just a thrill in my mind. That's the reason I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. Okay, so probably many of you want to know, what's your financial aid package might look like, or you want to know what we can help you on the college admissions, right? Okay, so those are the things you can do. So each of you today, if you have listened all my webinars, you get a chance to get a free consultation with me. It takes about 45 minutes, give or take, and depending on your unique situations. And everything will be done through the Zoom meeting. So it's quite convenient, right? Yeah, but just hold on for 1 second. Actually, I have a requirements for you in order to do this free consultation, right? So first, we have a large volume. I'm always booked on my schedules. So I want to respect your time and you also help me out, right? Respect my time as well. So if you are married, if both parents are there, care about the students, and if you want to know more about the student admissions, your student wants to be part of this. So all of you need to be in the meeting together with me. If you only worry about the financial part, parents need to be here. The student may not need to come. Okay, so this is a requirement for you. All the parties who need to who care about the situation, who make decisions, need to be present in the meeting. And in a little bit, my assistant, Tom, he will send out the schedule link in the chat box. You can click that link and then make the appointment with me. So the appointment will be in the next 4 weeks. And if you cannot find the right time and day for you, you just go ahead to do your best guess right now. And just through the appointment link, you can reschedule very easily, right? Just do your best guess. Just book one time, because otherwise, we don't have enough space. It's early come, early serve. Okay, another thing I want to let you know is we actually have a lot of parents coming, and I want you to be prepared. If you just listen to part of the webinars, didn't go through the whole thing, make sure you listen to the online recording so you get the whole thing before you come to see me. We have a very busy schedule, and I hope you are prepared. You know what we are doing, and you know what we can help you, and so we can discuss just right to the point. Okay, so one of the 3 things will happen when we have these one-to-one meetings, right? So it will take about like 30 to 45 minutes, and I will ask you questions, and you also get a chance to ask me your burning questions. And we probably will start to talk about your children, their academics, their scores, their ranks, their finances, and everything about their schools, their college, their dreams, right? And we will also talk about your finance if that's something you have concerned. And you're good at something and we're good at something. So make sure, we may be able to team up to help you out. And a lot of times, parents just want us to help them over everything. So we do offer a few packages that's like a very holistic approach to help the students to prepare for the college. And I just learned one thing. I think that's quite good. I know a lot of parents, they are versatile. They can do a lot of things, very smart, can learn things quickly as well. But it takes the whole village to raise a child, right? So we are part of that whole village. Okay, as we mentioned before, our organization, we have created a unique best-in-class college admission and financial aid software. This software is called My Tuition Score. So it's a unique and comprehensive preparation tool for the college process that will help you to calculate your EFC, right? You remember it was EFC, expected family contributions, and will help you to look at the potential for the need-based financial aid. And this is a software is available online. It's like $79. But when you come to us for a free consultation, we can give that for you, do calculation for you for free. Okay. So this is one of the example of this free report from the software. As you can see, the student applies for Stanford. The cost of attendance, my God, is $89,000. It's quite expensive, is that right? $89,000. And the EFC is $65,000 for the family right now. So the estimated out-of-pocket cost for this family is like $66,000. But according to this software, right, we know there's a chance to reduce families' EFC to $37,000. So if we successfully do this, and the student gets a chance to pay much less, like $40,000 out of pocket. So those is a part of the information, we can plan ahead. So we get the things in mind. We can be more prepared. Also, everyone watching this webinar has a goal. For most family, might be, we want to get my child into their dream college, and also to pay the college as efficiently as possible and do not impact our own retirement dreams. So the goal is the easy part. Executing on the goal is the hard part. This is where we can come in help. So we can help you. We have the blueprint for you. So I will leave you with this. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So this is my another assistant, Barravis. phone number and the contact information. So if you don't say that appointment on the chat box, you can use this link as well. And then that's her phone number. You can text her if you need help with the appointment. Okay, so here I'll just play this quick video to you. This is one of the families I have helped. And this is also one of the reasons why I enjoy doing what I'm doing.
All pretty good schools and offering me a lot of financial aid. It's all thanks to Dr. Sherry and the Palm team for helping us get this far. Really grateful. I want to study aerospace engineering. I've always been interested in flying objects, things like that. So I'm hoping maybe I can study aerospace engineering and later in the future, maybe get a job involving space or something. Yes, like I've gotten my chosen majors in all my schools, so it's really nice.
Good job, William.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Now let's share the joy with the mom. Annie, how you think about that?
Oh, I think appreciable you guys help. It's a lot of help.
Okay, the happy parents.
All pretty good schools.
Let's go to next page. So we do have two packages we offer, and one we call it a gold package. So gold package has everything you need about college funding. So we help you to fill in all the financial forms, line by line. So there's a financial aid, FAFSA forms, CSS forms, and we help you to do personalized scholarship search. There's so many places have scholarships available. It may take you hours to figure out where to find those things. And we have experts to do this for you. And best of all, we'll help you to reduce your EFC as much as possible. We'll help you to put a strategy in place even years before you apply for college, and you know what's the best strategy for your family, and prepare the college funding in the most efficient way. You pay least taxes and then get the most bang of your buck. And so there's so many things involved. And on top of that, actually, we do provide additional leadership opportunities. I'll just talk in a little bit. So this is another package we call Diamond. So Diamond includes everything you need for the financial aid. Diamond includes gold package, but above that, we have everything you need for the college admission or the mission services. Like we help the students to look at their personality, their interests, recommend right majors for them. If they already have some ideas about what they want to do, that's fine. You know, we just want to help whatever you need, or just help to confirm that's right for her. And we also have a workbook on SAT, ACT preps. That's 18 weeks of practice they can do online. It's very, very good. And we have counselors can provide guidance, mentoring along the way. And they just help to answer all the questions, how to choose classes and how to do extra curriculums, how to develop leaderships. There's just so much you can learn from the counselors. And on the top of that, this is, I said, a must-haves. And when it's time for do the college applications, you want somebody to help your student to review their applications, review their resumes, their packages they put together, review their essays. So this is very important for everybody here. So it's a gold package and diamond package here. Okay, so I will just play this short video so you get everything we do in the diamond package, that including the finance and the student admissions.
POM stands for peace of mind, and if you're like most families, that's exactly what you seek when it comes to the college process, and frankly, when it comes to anything. The college process is so involved, so many things to consider, so many options, and so many unknowns. You don't even know what you don't know. And when it comes to this large investment and this life-changing and potentially path-setting opportunity for your student, obviously peace of mind is key. At POM College Consulting, our job is to minimize your cost, maximize your return on investment. And most importantly, make sure that your student, your child, has all of their options evaluated and is making the right decisions for the right reasons and has all of the competitive advantages to get to where they want to get to. Our experienced team will help your family achieve all of the goals that you have when it comes to the college investment and to the college degree. Our Diamond Package set of student services starts with an individual student assessment. This 100-question assessment will allow your student to go on, answer questions, and then schedule a one-on-one session with one of our experienced counselors who will then serve as a mentor to your student throughout the college process. This individual student assessment will help determine so many things when it comes to building the school list. There are thousands of colleges out there. How do you narrow these down? How do you make sure that the college list is being created for the right reasons? Not just because it's a school you've heard of or a friend or family member has gone there or they have a great football team, but to look really in depth at the majors that they offer and how they compare with your student's career path and potential career path. To look at the demographics, to look at the geographic location, the faculty makeup, and in general, to look at all of the components of what make a successful college list for all of the right reasons. After this assessment, you will get a report from the counselor detailing their recommendations, and the team will then be available to you for follow-up questions. The counselor will stay in touch with your student for questions, and most importantly, the communication can be done not just through phone or email, but in this day and age, text message seems to be the preferred method for most students. And I can't tell you how many of our counselors have running text message conversations up and down their phone with all of the various students that they work with. We'll always make sure the questions are answered. And then as we get into this whole application process, we've got our school list. Now we need to make sure that we have the best possible essay or essays for the admission application, that the application itself is laid out right with the resume and the brag sheet, potentially letters of recommendation. Do we need them? For which schools? Who do we get them from? What should they say? Are we going to do an admission interview? If so, what questions are they going to ask? Let's be prepared for that. So all of the different things and components that go into the admission process, we're not going to have you just choose. We're going to make sure that we give you all of these as part of the Diamond Package to make sure that your student has all of the competitive advantages necessary. Additionally, Method Test Prep is part of our package where the students have online 24/7 access to the SAT and ACT prep. This is an opportunity for the kids to practice and learn how to beat the test. You might have hired a tutor, you might work with a prep company, but at the end of the day, the point is these tests are beatable, and the material and the ways and the strategies to beat these tests is pretty similar no matter where you look. So this gives the kids the chance to study alone 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day, maybe an hour a week, maybe a cram session the night before the test. Maybe they take the test 3 or 4 times so they can review leading up to all 3 or 4 tests. Highly successful test prep software, and it's another opportunity for a competitive advantage, not only to get into a school, but to have the best chance to get merit-based scholarship money. We're going to make sure with a personalized loan manual and scholarship guide that you have all the information you need if you're borrowing or looking for scholarships. Not only will you get our general scholarship guide, but you will also get a personalized scholarship report based on your student's gender, ethnicity, interests, hobbies, etc. We're going to find some scholarships that they can apply for. Doesn't mean they're going to get them, but we're going to save the hours of scouring the internet to find scholarships that would be applicable to their specific profile and situation. You're going to have unlimited access to My Tuition Score, which is an unbelievably unique and comprehensive prep tool for families in your situation, figuring out the different schools and costs and potential available aid. But most importantly, we're going to hold your hand and provide the financial aid services for you. We will fill out the FAFSA form. We will fill out the CSS profile. We'll complete these. We'll submit them. We'll fill out and submit any other institutional addendums and other paperwork that will be required to apply for and obtain financial aid. When the financial aid award letters come in, we will evaluate them and make sure they're right, that you're getting the money you're supposed to be getting. And when you're not getting it and the awards are not what they should be, we will prepare the appeal and negotiation letters for you. So make sure that your communication with these schools is what it needs to be to maximize your aid and, of course, to minimize your cost. They're going to make sure that you don't overpay for college, but most importantly, that you don't jeopardize the opportunity to retire while you're doing that. Peace of mind is what we all seek in life, and peace of mind is what we will provide you on this college journey. We'll help you make the right choices. We'll help you understand the options. We'll take all of the time it would take you to research and learn and make that go away as we do all of this for you and with you. And most importantly, you will hear from us every 2 weeks. We will check in. We will be there making sure that you don't miss a step. We're always a call, a text, or an email away. Even on nights or weekends, if you've got a quick question, I can't guarantee you we're sitting by the phone or the computer 24/7, but it doesn't have to be just 9 to 5 for you to get your questions answered or for us to help allay your concerns. POM stands for
So here's additional information about the leadership training opportunities. So we do work with a nonprofit organization. As Rosalie introduced at the beginning, I'm also a board of director, co-founder of a nonprofit organization. It's called Above and Beyond Leadership and Education. So ABLE organization, we use that to train student leaders, like Sam is our past president. And just one little example, during last COVID in the summer, a lot of people, they told me, because it's COVID, there's not much they could do, but you look at what our students do. Actually, last summer, our high school students, a lot of them are seniors and juniors, and they took the leadership, right? So they put together this online educational program. They provide topics on like chemistry, the language cultures, English writing, math. So they provide these educational seminars to the middle schoolers, everything, free, and everything's through the Zoom. So those are the activities they do. They help out with the nonprofit organizations. They actually, they are building libraries in Indonesia. This is they are doing this virtual workout programs during the COVID. So there's a lot of very innovative students. They get this platform, they get the guidance, so they can be the best of them all. And on the top of that, additional leadership activities in nonprofit that will help them in their college admissions. So this is another student we had, and her name's actually, I probably don't, it's better to not mention her name, but she led a program building libraries in Indonesia, and we actually gave her a scholarship of $1,000 last year, just to give her encouragement for the great work she has done. Okay, so with that said, we have shared a lot, and now it's time for you to answer questions. Rosalie is here. Rosalie, please help to get those questions.
Sorry, had you on mute. So a lot of the questions we've had asked are about scholarship. We talked about merit-based or financial aid-based scholarships. What are some of the other scholarships, and how are students eligible to get them?
Yeah, so basically, as Rosalie has mentioned, there's a merit-based, and also there's a need-based. And then on top of that, there's scholarships offered by the third parties. For example, like a Bank of America, like a Coca-Cola. There's a lot of third parties, the institutions. They just provide scholarships for the people. They will have descriptions who they are looking for, who they want to sponsor, so those kind of information. So for the second question, Rosalie talked about like how you get them. So those are the things we kind of mentioned in our seminars. So we just have to plan ahead and then to know where are they, right? And what are the opportunities for your family, for your students, and what's the right time to do it, and how you gather those information and how you do it right. So those exactly our program will help out.
Wonderful. We've had several questions regarding the costs of the program. I've answered a couple, but I have told several people that it all depends on what services they're looking for. Our services range from a couple $100s to a couple $1,000, depending on, hey, if you just need assistance with one piece of the puzzle, or if you want us to create the whole 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, we can do that as well. We did have some questions on top of that is, how is it paid? Is it a monthly price or a one-time fee? And maybe talk a little bit more about the guarantee.
Okay, good. So I'll give you the price, right? Because everybody wants to have the best quality programs with the least amount of money. So that's exactly what we are doing. So for the gold package, you remember I mentioned about gold package, that is everything you need for the college finance. We have a whole package there. So most family, I think they need that package to help their children. So the total cost for the high school years, all the high school years included, and it's only $1,500. I'll just give you a cost, but we do have an interview process. So we only provide programs to the families we know we are going to help, we are going to make a big impact, and we know we are going to make this successful. So only $1,500, but in most cases, the family can make or can save much more than the cost. So for the diamond program, you remember we talk about diamond program includes everything we talk about in gold, and on top of that, have the things we have for the college student admissions. So it's the same thing. It's for the whole high school years, and the cost is only $3,000. That's it. We have a really great programs with the most cost-effective program here. One of the reasons I want to let you know is we do use a lot of high tech. So for example, I showed you a little bit. We have a very good database and a resource to help the students so they can get a lot of resource and do it in a very efficient way. And our counselors as well, they just can they can just make that great work doing very efficiently.
Awesome. And then a little bit more about the guarantee.
Yeah, so we do guarantee the satisfaction of the families and parents, and because we're trying to help you out, we call our program peace of mind. So we want to provide the peace of mind to your family. But it's a teamwork, with our counselors' guidance, with the teamwork together. I'm sure most families, they are so thrilled with our services. They like us. But in case it doesn't fit into your program, into your family situations, we can refund you, no problem with that. Seems Rosalie is frozen there. Okay, so I'll just take a few questions myself from the Q&A box. Okay, there's a questions about like the student said, there's a parent said their home make a good income, but the student can students still make a scholarship? The answer is a yes. We have talked about this a few times in the webinar. Do not think you make too much money. There's a lot of strategies you can use. There's a merit scholarship, and also there's a smart way to prepare for the college funding, right? And if you can save taxes, if you know the most efficient way to do the college funding, that will be the surplus for your family. And I have a lot of families, they make a very good income, but they still can make a lot of scholarship for their families. Okay, another question is, what's the best time to apply for college, to prepare for the college? So the best time, actually, that's one thing I want to tell you. Start early as possible, because you need to prepare about it. If you don't get prepared, you can apply, you can apply, but if you are not prepared, you are not going to get this, or you are not going to get as much as possible. So that's my quick question to you. If your child is in the like high school already, or higher grade of middle school, like 8th grade, it's probably the time to start talking with us. What's the duration of gold and the diamond package? So our package covers all the high school years. So even you start like a senior year or junior year, and it covers all the high school years. You can start as early as the 8th grader, actually. But I see a lot of students start as a freshman year and the sophomore year and the junior year. Okay, so we, I think we are close to our time limit now. There's still some question out here. We wouldn't be able to answer them all. Hope you get a chance to meet with me in person so we can help you more. And with that said, I'll just say bye to all of you, and we wish you family the best, and we wish you get the best preparation for your college. Okay, so I see Rosalie is back. Hey, Rosalie, you're back.
Yes, so sorry about that.
Yeah, we'll just get ready to wrap up. Maybe there's
All right,
a
perfect.
couple more minutes. We'll just say bye to all of them.
Wonderful. All right, bye guys. Thanks for everything.
Okay, bye everybody.